Hi, my name is Rachel Baisden, and I am a non-traditional student at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, also known as UNLV. I am enrolled in Dance 108. Now, as a non-traditional student, I am a woman over 30 with children, and I am not aspiring to become a prima ballerina or a dancer of sorts. However, I do recognize that as I age, it's important for me to have flexibility, agility, good core health, as well as good pelvic floor health. Therefore, I signed up for the Dance 108 class, which is the introduction to Pilates. In this next series of videos, what I'll be demonstrating for you is some pre-Pilates moves. I hope they're good and helpful for you as well. And maybe later you can join me. Thanks. One of the essential components in Pilates is proper breathing or breath. So I would like to begin with learning or showing you Pilates breathing or the Pilates breath technique. Now you're going to be breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth, but it's not like a fire breath. It's not a, it's more of a deep inhalation, and we want to have a mind-body connection. So in order to connect properly, I'm going to place my hand on my belly here and then my other hand on my ribs. Because when I inhale, I want to start the breath here in my belly, rise up into my lung area, which is going to raise my rib cage. And then on the exhalation, I am going to start from the rib cage. So exhale the air out of my lungs through my mouth. And then lastly, stopping and concentrating the area here in my belly region. Now, that's important for you to know because when we do our first move, which is our scapular depression, in the next video, I am going to be referring to our Pilates breath. So let's go ahead and begin the technique. So inhale, belly to ribs, exhale, rib to belly, and we are targeting our belly and ribs, just as we're saying with this Pilates breath. Alrighty, so. Right? So if you see my hands here, you see how my belly extended, then my rib cage, and then the rib cage and the belly. So again, one more time. Inhale through the nose. Very rhythmic, very focused breath. Last time. The Pilates breathing technique, targeting the belly and the ribs. Thank you. Now that we're familiar with the proper breathing technique or Pilates breathing, let's move on to scapular depression. So now scapular is just a fancy word for your shoulder blade area or your scapula. So when that little triangle bone here in the back, when you breathe in and your ribs go up and then it expands, that little area there and that shoulder blade area, that's your scapular. And whenever we're doing our Pilates move, we always want our scapular or that shoulder blade area to be depressed. All right, so you're gonna envision your shoulder blades moving, pressing down and back into your back pockets of your pants or your jeans that you're wearing, and keeping that engaged whenever you're doing your Pilates movements. So we're going to have our arms extended in a 45-degree angle. And remember, it's all about energy work and mind and body connection. So you're going to breathe in as you would with your normal Pilates breathing, in through the nose, belly to ribs, out through the mouth, ribs to belly. But on the inhalation, draw your shoulders all the way up to your ears as high as you can. On the exhalation, drop those shoulders back as you're Exhaling, ribs to belly, and then you're going to press your shoulder blades back like you're sliding down into those jeans. That's the scapular depression. And then have your arms extended, having that energy flowing all the way through your fingertips. Again, you're targeting the shoulder blade area with this move. All right, so let's begin. All right, again, so breathing in, belly to ribs, raising those shoulders. Exhalation 1, shoulders back 2, sliding the scapula down, extending through the fingertips 3. All right, one more time. Scapular depressions. Thank you. As we continue onward with our pre-Pilates movements, let's explore pelvic floor. When we're discussing the pelvic floor, we're talking about the basket of muscles that supports the pubic bone, the sacrum, and the coccyx. It's like that base of your spine. There's this basket of muscles that just keeps everything in place. As we age, become inactive, poor posture, bear children, all of those things can lead to a weakened pelvic floor. And having a strong pelvic floor helps to make sure that we are completely in a contracted position abdominally and in our pelvic floor area when we're doing our Pilates movements. So this is why this particular demonstration is so key to your proper formation in your Pilates movements. What I'll be using is a small ball, and it's got some flexibility to it. And the reason this helps me is because I need that mind-body connection. I need to, when I sit on this ball, I'm going to place it under my tailbone and press down into just some comfortable seated position. That way I know that I'm engaging in just that normal seated position. And then when I engage my pelvic floor, I'm going to only be using the inner thigh muscles here and my butt cheeks to envision lifting up on the exhalation and squeezing my fanny to squeeze that ball. All right, so let's begin by just placing the ball under your tailbone. All right, my feet are going to be extended here. You see it's really loose. It's kind of hard to see. Hello. All right. Just sitting back, sitting up. All right. Nothing. No, it's normal. Everything's cool. Then I'm going to do my inhalation, ensuring that I'm belly button to ribs, just my normal Pilates breath. And then when I go on the exhalation, I'm going to send all of that energy down into my pelvic floor area as I'm squeezing my butt cheeks. And you see how that little squeeze there, I'm lifting up a little bit. It's a small movement, but it is powerful. All right, so let's begin with our Pilates breath. In through the nose, belly button to ribs. On the exhalation, I'm going to send all of my energy down to my pelvic floor area, and I'm squeezing my butt cheeks, lifting up, and I'm holding. If you notice, since I'm engaging, I've got a little contraction here in my abdominal muscles, and that's what you want. Everything else should be relaxed. All right, I'm not tightening up my thighs. I'm engaging my fanny and those inner thighs there as I send all of my energy down into my pelvic area and relax. Okay? Let's go again. Squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Relax. One more again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, pelvic floor using small ball. Okie dokie, so now as I demonstrate my head roll, be mindful that the level of abdominal strength you have is variable. So my abdominals are pretty weak. That's one of the reasons why I'm taking this course, so I can find some strength. So just do it to the level of your comfortability. But because you are focusing on that scapula area and trying to build your core, back core area, the concept seems kind of foreign, but that's why this is important. Also, when you're doing your C curve, you're gonna be sitting and challenging that muscle, that abdominal muscle area too, and you wanna send all of that energy down through your pelvic area and not have any tension or stress in your shoulders, alrighty? So what my goal is to lift my shoulders off of the mat as comfortably as possible and as smoothly as possible, with making sure that my shoulders are depressed and my abs are engaged and all of the air is out of the top of my lungs down into my pelvic region to help me with my head roll up. Alrighty, so you're going to begin thinking about your breath, inhaling in through the nose, belly to ribs. Shoulders are coming up a little slightly on the exhalation, out, scapula depression, C curve, abdominal, and holding. All right, so you see how I'm not that far off the mat. That's just the level of comfortability that I have right now. All right, and gently lower back down. All right, now one of the things I wanted to show and demonstrate this concept with a head turn. So I'm not going to be twisting my body, just a simple head turn to incorporate some more movement in the neck. So let's see if we can get this done again with the inhalation, belly to ribs, scapula depression on the exhalation, C curve, engaging that pelvis. And now I'm going to just turn my head from side to side. Shoulders are still. All right. Exhale, back down. Now I'm back in neutral spine. So that was the head roll up. The targeted areas in the head roll up are the abs or the abdominal muscles, the scapula, as well as the C curve or that tailbone, pelvic floor, and the neck. Alrighty, remember everything you want to engage from your front core there, all right? In that pelvic floor area, you're gonna be tucking that tailbone under and exhaling. So when you're inhaling, you're doing your belly to ribs. On the exhale, you're gonna press down into that scapular depression. We were pressing through on the floor there, all right? Making sure all of the air is out of our chest as you're doing that C curve and tucking that tail under, all right? And helping to support your body through that pelvic floor. All of that energy was going through that abdominal area. You see how I'm just tucked down? That's that C curve right there. And then you were lifting up, articulating that spine, one vertebrae at a time, one vertebra at a time, and then rolling back down for the head roll up. Alrighty. Thanks.